Welcome to the Voice of My Generation. The teens get together with adults and we talk about this, that, and the other. This today is to remind you that it's time to vote. This is the year when a new president will go before the people and present his program. We have the Democrats and we have the Republicans. One of our major issues that we're talking about this year, of course, is education. To share with us her views, her experiences, and where do we go from here in the elementary, high, and also the higher level of education at the college level, is Professor Edie Miracle. Welcome to our set, Professor Miracle. Pleased to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be here.
All right, real good. I'm a lover of treats, so I brought you a treat here. Have one.
Sunflower seeds.
Oh, sunflower, yes.
Okay.
Now, Professor Miracle, tell our audience a little bit about you and the fruits of your labor, where you've been, and how you created a great world of education, and had a few birthdays, and where you come from, and a little bit about you, your background, your history.
Okay. I'm from Columbus, Georgia.
Columbus, Georgia, all right.
I have two families, one biological, one adopted. The one thing I'm really grateful to my biological mother for is that she agreed to let me be adopted by my real mom.
Okay.
She didn't give birth to me, but she was the best mother anybody could have.
For the record's sake, your mother's name, who birthed you into the world, is?
Maddie.
Okay.
And my adopted mother, Laney.
Laney, last names? Maddie
Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
And Laney Weldon.
Laney Weldon, all right. Professor Miracle, your education. Welcome to the Voice of My Generation. The teens get together with adults and we talk about this, that, and the other. This today is to remind you that it's time to vote. This is the year when a new president will go before the people and present his program. We have the Democrats and we have the Republicans. One of our major issues that we're talking about this year, of course, is education. To share with us her views, her experiences, and where do we go from here in the elementary, high, and also the higher level of education at the college level, is Professor Edie Miracle. Welcome to our set, Professor Miracle. Pleased to have you. Thank you for joining us.
Good to be here.
All right, real good. I'm a lover of treats, so I brought you a treat here. Have one.
Sunflower seeds.
Oh, sunflower, yes.
Okay.
Now, Professor Miracle, tell our audience a little bit about you and the fruits of your labor, where you've been, and how you created a great world of education, and had a few birthdays, and where you come from, and a little bit about you, your background, your history.
Okay. I'm from Columbus, Georgia.
Columbus, Georgia, all right.
I have two families, one biological, one adopted. The one thing I'm really grateful to my biological mother for is that she agreed to let me be adopted by my real mom.
Okay.
She didn't give birth to me, but she was the best mother anybody could have.
For the record's sake, your mother's name, who birthed you into the world, is?
Maddie.
Okay.
And my adopted mother, Laney.
Laney, last names? Maddie
Fitzpatrick.
Okay.
And Laney Weldon.
Laney Weldon, all right. Professor Miracle, your education. We were saying how important it is that for this political year, education is. Talk to us about your education and how it moved you on to the next level of high achievement.
Okay, I always admired teachers, had some really good ones.
Okay.
And so I thought I wanted to teach, but not young kids. So I wanted to teach at the college level.
Okay. And so where did you spend your early education? Give us your school and a little bit of that place.
Spencer High School, Columbus, Georgia.
Okay.
And then I had a scholarship to Albany State University now. And it was all paid for. So I said, oh yeah, that's a good deal.
Okay.
Books included with lodging, and then I did some student teaching.
Okay.
And they paid me to do that.
All right.
So then I got enough money to buy me a car, and then I would go from Albany, Georgia, back home to Columbus, Georgia, over the weekend to listen to my mom sing at church.
Mm-hmm.
And then after dinner from church, then I'll go back to Albany State.
So education was paramount, but you had that family to support you. So family is so important when young people move ahead to middle, high school, college, and coming on up the ladder of higher education. How did you get to Wayne County Community College? Talk to us about it.
Well, I knew a couple of people in Detroit.
Okay.
And since I had been a student teacher in Albany State, somebody that I know my family had adopted as part of our family suggested that I would like Wayne State University.
All right.
And so I came and tried it out, and then they paid me to go to college.
You were rewarded, right? How wonderful, yeah.
And I thought, wow, this is wonderful. And then they gave me my own independent classes to teach. And I thought it was a setup at first, so that I would fail and then they'll kick me out. But I got paid as a student to teach. I was, oh, this is what I want to do the rest of my life.
All right.
And then I was introduced to some people who said, well, there's a Wayne County Community College, and it takes care of your first 2 years of college. And the whole philosophy was fascinating, so I decided I'd give it a shot, and I loved it. We had students who actually attended on Sunday.
All right. And what did you teach at Wayne County?
Psychology.
Okay. And as I understand it, early on, Reginald Wilson, Dr. Reginald Wilson was one of the early pioneers, the first president, and you started in churches and storefronts, block clubs at the Y, all different places.
Any place that
Talk
had
to
a
us
room.
real quickly about those places where you early taught and how you recruited those students.
For the most part, the facility, who was in charge of the facility, got the students.
So the teacher had to go out and recruit. Okay.
Right. And so the students were really motivated, middle-aged, some who had always wanted to go to college.
Okay.
And so now that their kids on their own, they came back. And so my first classes were like middle-aged people.
So you're talking over 40?
Some 40, 45,
Okay.
60-year-old.
Okay.
And then she was the oldest one. And instead of calling me Professor Miracle, she said, baby. And what did you say, baby? Say that again.
All
you know?
right.
And then that just made me melt. And I enjoyed it. I was my own boss for a long while, and stayed there 40 years. And here I am now, retired.
Okay. What kind of students did you have before we go to closure? From the time you started, what year did you start in Wayne County teaching?
1968.
68 to 1968 to 2011, something around there. Tell me the broad range of students that you had. Did they change significant from high school, from ninth grader education to maybe having some entry-level college that transferred over to Wayne County Community College? The type of students.
The type of students primarily were persons who had always wanted to go to college, but had to go get a job or something else interrupted their plans.
Okay. So they got a 2-year education.
2 years.
Okay.
And then could transfer to a 4-year.
So then they could go on to Wayne State, University of Michigan, any other college across the country.
Any 4-year institution.
What's your fondest memory before we have to leave? We've got about another minute. What is one of your fondest experiences that you had at Wayne County Community College?
I had a middle-aged student who always wanted to go to college but did not think that she had what it takes.
Okay.
And when she had her first A on a paper, it was like you gave her $1 million.
Okay.
And then that motivated me. I wanted to do it again. I wanted to find more people like her.
All right. Well, we want to thank the educators, folks like Professor Miracle, who go in the trenches and help folks who have had lots of birthdays to go on to higher education. Any one person that you think that influenced you the most in your education coming along the trenches? Besides your mom and dad, is there anyone else or experiences you'd like to share with the audience before we say goodbye?
My high school homeroom teacher.
Okay, what was her name?
Mrs. Washington.
Miss Washington, all right.
And this lady was more like a mother to me, and I don't know what she saw in me.
Okay.
But she had a husband, and they had one son.
All right.
Anything I was doing, I look up in the audience, there was Mrs. Washington, Mr. Washington, and Junior Washington. And I just could not believe that this lady was traveling all around with her family, following me around.
Okay.
And my graduation, I marched in, and the first persons I saw was that Washington family.
You know, I recall now, you told me that you almost were denied the opportunity to get your scholarship. And what did Mrs. Washington tell you? As I recall, you told me.
You are going to college.
You're going to college. You got to have somebody to have confidence in.
And if I have to pay for it, you're going to college.
So when you walked across that stage at Albany State, you looked out into the audience. Who did you see?
Mrs. Washington, John Washington, and John Jr.
Well, for all the Washingtons in the world, we hope you'll keep on doing it, encouraging young people like Professor Miracle, who had no early support, but they pushed him. So all the great educators out there, thank you. Keep on doing it. Join us next time at the Voices of My Generation. We'll present more profiles of outstanding educators who are doing it most for kids around Michigan. See you around the corner. I'm Dr. Ilani Wilkes for the Voices of My Generation, TV3. Thanks much.
Beautiful.
All right. Well, there we go.